just moments ago. Former President George W. Bush, who is now a resident of the Dallas area, came out to midfield along with Laura Bush. Mike Carey, the referee. The coin toss won by the Cowboys, and they will receive in Lawrence Tynes, who was hurt last year, so John Carney took over for him, and Carney went to the Pro Bowl now in New Orleans. Is John Felix Jones, a home run hitter who was hurt last year but showed enough in 6 games that the Cowboys love him. And the game begins with a bouncing ball down to the 7-yard line. This is Jones starting left and going right, and the Giants' coverage is good. And Felix is taken down at the 24-yard line as we take a look at the Cowboys starting offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois.
Mary Barber III, Minnesota.
Roy Williams, Texas.
Patrick Creighton, Northwestern Oklahoma State.
Jason Witten, Tennessee. Martellus Bennett, Texas A&M.
Lovell Adams, Michigan State.
Kyle Kozar, Arizona State.
Andre Gerard, Colorado.
Leonard Davis, Texas.
Mike Colombo, Boston College.
Good veteran offensive line. Each of those guys has been in the league at least 8 seasons. Adams is the senior citizen, the left tackle. He's been in for 12. Barber is the running back. Creighton's in the slot. Dion Anderson is the fullback, and Romo's going to throw, and it's a swing pass to Barber. And Barber with a little straight arm before he's knocked out of bounds by the linebacker Michael Boley, number 52. Tony Romo has had a good start to his career, but the question's going to become, and there were his numbers last year at Tampa Bay. And Chris, when it's all said and done, will he be Troy Aikman? Will he be Roger Staubach? Or will he be like Danny White, who was very good but never brought the Lombardi home?
You have to wait until playoff season to answer that one, because he certainly has everything else going for them. But until he starts winning those playoff games, you'd never get in the category with those guys you mentioned.
2nd down and 5 from the 28-yard line. Pierce getting everybody set. He's the defensive quarterback. Now a draw play. The Cowboys run a lot of draws, and it's Barber to the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and short. Cofield in on the stop. Here's the Giant D.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern.
Fred Robbins, Wake Forest.
OCU Manura, University of Troy.
Danny Clark, Illinois.
AP, Arizona.
Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Kenneth Phillips, DU.
Mike Johnson, Arizona.
Terrell Thomas, USC.
There's that rebuilt, at least for tonight's secondary, that Andrea talked about. Key guy, of course, is Webster. He's their best defensive back and normally gets locked up on the other team's best receiver. Tonight that would be Roy Williams. On 3rd and short, Romo has a lot of time in the pocket. And still the Giant defense does its job downfield, intended for Martellus Bennett. So they gave Romo some time. He looked, he pumped, incomplete.
Well, you don't often see Tony Romo with this much time and not come away with anything. He could have actually stood there a little bit longer. Looked like Bennett was trying to get across the face, but this was that was not a good start. And
now what you've all been waiting for, the first punt of the night. And of course you know about the overhanging Jumbotron, which is 90 feet high, and that won't even come close as the kick by McBriar is fielded at the 21-yard line by Dominic Hickson. A flag goes down, and that will most likely negate what would be a good run back to almost midfield.
Oh, whatever the penalty was, it must have been obvious. They were raining flags down over there.
Or there could be a couple. Mike Carey.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 41. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
C.C. Brown. And the Giants now will be backed all the way up deep in their own territory. Eli Manning, take a look at that. Last year sacked 27 times, 12 times versus the Cowboys, including 8 in the game in Irving last December, and only 15 times in the other 14 games. So the Cowboys knew how to get to him. And you've got Ware getting whacked by his own man. Igor Olshansky was so excited getting the crowd into it that he gave him a shot to the chops.
The Giants are going to try and whack him now because they have not been able to block him.
spot the ball at the 17-yard line. First down. Brandon Jacobs is the running back. The fake to him. It is Manning escaping and then throwing, and upfield it is caught at the 48-yard line by Steve Smith. So Smith goes against Terrence Newman, the outstanding Cowboy corner. 32 yards off the fake, buying time, first down.
Well, Terrence Newman not fooled at all in this play. Really had great coverage. Steve Smith goes with a double move. Newman cuts him off, but because it was a bootleg, Eli had so much time to work, he just peels back underneath and makes a huge catch. What a start for the Giants.
For Smith now in his third season, his longest career reception. He, in effect, becomes number one with Burris gone and with Amani Toomer gone as well from the 49-yard line on first down. Manning throwing again, and that is caught and inside the 40, and that's taken in by Dominic Hickson, and he's taken down by Ken Hamlin, and that takes a little air out of the crowd immediately. Good for 13 yards.
So everybody in the building knew what? That the Giants were going to come out and run the football with Brandon Jacobs. So what do? Come out 2 straight passes and look pretty good doing it too. For Eli, he just does not seem to be uncomfortable in any environment anymore.
45 yards on the first 2 passes. The ball in the 38-yard line. Cowboys run a base 3-4, but send 5 rushers a lot on pass plays. And this is the big bull Jacobs at 6'4", 264. Let's take a look at the Giants starters.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Brandon Jacobs, Southern Illinois.
Madison Hitchcock, North Carolina. Steve Smith, Southern Cal. Dominic Hickson, Akron.
Kevin Boss, Western Oregon.
Dave Deal, University of Chief Illinois.
Rich Sloybert, Western Illinois. Sean O'Hara, Rutgers University.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Kareem McKenzie, Penn State.
Right guard Chris Snee, son-in-law of head coach Tom Coughlin. Second down and 6. That offensive line and Manning have made 33 consecutive starts together, over 2 full seasons worth. And that is Jacobs getting taken down in the backfield, something you don't see too often. Jay Ratliff, the nose tackle, right there to make sure he got him down a 5-yard loss.
Well, Ratliff is just one of the quickest nose tackles in the game. You'll see him shoot the gap right here, and his ability to get upfield. Now, Sean O'Hara is an excellent center, but I haven't seen anybody in the league yet with the kind of quickness that can make that cutoff block. You almost have to check out of that run if Ratliff is that side.
Ratliff finally getting the acknowledgement he's been due last year. Went to his first Pro Bowl. Third down and 11. Manning out of the shotgun. Cowboys jostle him. Then a wobbly pass is caught at the 20-yard line by Smith, and he's taken down at the 15-yard line. So Eli is able to hang in. He was contacted, got away, and then it's a 26-yard gain on the play.
Well, the first thing first, you have to take care of DeMarcus Ware. They're going to bring Kevin Boss, the tight end, out there to chip him first before he gets to deal. But for Manning, he stood in there pretty good. He may have even gotten that ball knocked loose a little bit in his hand, so it came out a little wobbly, but he stayed with it and found Smith.
So Smith with 2 catches for 58 yards on the Giants' opening drive. 5 minutes into the game, the Giants out of the shotgun at the Cowboy 13-yard line. Manning in the pocket, fires over the middle, and that's incomplete, and it's knocked down at the last moment by Orlando Scandrick. Getting the start, Dominic Hickson, the intended receiver. Scandrick winning the spot at the other corner opposite Newman in his second year out of Boise State.
Scandrick just off and inside, has him all the way, and Hickson really just kind of goes right into him to have a chance on that one. He had to undercut Scandrick. It's kind of interesting what the Cowboys do with their corners. They have 2 that they like on the outside. So Mike Jenkins and Orlando Scandrick, they alternate starts. That time Scandrick with a nice play.
That Smith wide to the left on 2nd and 10. They're going to give it to Jacobs. He swings to the right to the 12-yard line. Ken Hamlin comes in to push him down. 3rd down and 9. Giants last week against the Redskins 3 times in the red zone. Couldn't get into the end zone. Had to settle for 2 field goals and gave it up on downs on the other possession. 3rd down and 9. Smith left, Manningham to the right. Double slot left. Manning throws and knocked down inside the 5-yard line. That's Mike Jenkins, their #1 draft choice out of South Florida last year. Jenkins coming into the nickel and knocking it away from Hickson. 4th down.
Well, of course, Plaxico Burress no longer here, and he was such a great threat down in the red zone. Here, you've got to think that Hickson had a chance, but he would have had to really come back hard, really more than anything else. Eli lucky Mike Jenkins one didn't come up with that. So these receivers, at least early on down in the red zone, losing the battle.
30-yard attempt for Lawrence Tynes, who was hurt last year, healthy again this year. Fiegels puts it down, and the first points at Cowboys Stadium are scored by the New York Giants. 3-0 New York. At this stadium tonight, and you were in a lounge near the 50-yard line, the teams would walk right by you. That's where the Cowboys come out and out onto the field. And as we take a look at Jerry Jones in the owner's box tonight, his vision now a reality. Bought the team in 1989. Kickoff fielded by Felix Jones at the goal line. Up past the 20. And a good run back as Felix Jones gets knocked into the Giants bench up at the 37-yard line. Romo and company. How do you capture that? 2 new retirees, President Bush and John Madden. Now, except for the overhanging jumbotron, that would look like the old Texas Stadium with a hole in the roof. The roof is open tonight. It's an 87-degree night, and this drive begins with a Felix Jones run for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And, of course, Chris, when you look at the Cowboy offense, the one glaring omission would be Terrell Owens. They decided they didn't want to sign him again. Everybody knows that he's in Buffalo. And the man really under the gun this year is going to be Roy Williams, who was picked up from Detroit last year.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to try and replace what T.O. did here. 38 touchdown passes in his 3 years, the most in the NFL, and that burden really has fallen on Williams now.
Fake to Barber, then Romo throws to the outside. That's Witten, the tight end, and he's knocked out of bounds by Michael Boley, making his Giants debut, former Atlanta Falcon. Williams last year came over in midseason. Of course, he played at Detroit. Came over, wasn't necessarily 100% healthy, but was being ripped, in fact, in the offseason, and even as this season began, by a lot of the former Dallas stars. And then last week he was able to spring free for a long touchdown and caught 3 balls along the way.
And Roy was stung by the fact that the Ring of Fame were the guys that were coming after him.
3rd and 3. They have a 3-headed monster in the backfield with Barber, Jones, and now you've got Tashard Choice, and they'll send him out into the pattern, and he will make the catch, and Choice looks for a 1st down. It's going to be very close as the line judge goes right over to the marker. Terrell Thomas out of USC making the tackle, and that's enough for a Dallas 1st down.
Well, Tashard Choice certainly made a name for himself at the end of last year when everybody else in the running back core was injured. He came in against some of the best defenses in football, and week after week was putting up around 90 yards rushing and has earned a spot in the rotation. But make no mistake about it, it's Marion Barber and Felix Jones who are going to get the majority of the carries in the backfield.
Halfway through the opening quarter on opening night, official opening night at Cowboys Stadium. 1st down at the 48-yard line. Witten sets up in the slot. Fake to Barber. And then the pass is caught by Witten. And Witten is knocked down after a gain of 8. Michael Johnson making the tackle. A lot of good tight ends in the league, and a lot of people think he's the best.
Well, another good one, though, is Flozell Adams. They're going to come out here working against Ozi Umenyiora, and that's going to be a key matchup we'll watch all night long. Good enough there for Romo to get it out. And, of course, Jason Witten talking to Antonio Pierce. He says, let's just put an end to this. This guy is the best tight end in football. He is always open.
2nd and 2 from the 44-yard line. Here's Barber, and Barber gets taken down. That's a beautiful tackle going through the middle. Matthias Kiwanuka in his 4th year. Giants picked him #1 out of Boston College in '06. Grabbing him, knocking him down, no gain.
Kiwanuka with a hard inside move here, number 94, just going to slant. You'll see these giant defensive linemen. They will move one way, the linebackers move the opposite. But that's really my question out here today. The Giants so much quicker than this Cowboys offensive line. Can they hold them out?
3rd and 3. They run an inside draw, and that all belongs to Tashard Choice. Tashard Choice, who would be 3 on the depth chart. Barber 1, Felix Jones 2, and now Choice with 2 big plays, and that's another 3rd down conversion for him.
Looked like the Giants kind of moved early and maybe caused everybody to hesitate for just a moment, but when big Leonard Davis pulls around and comes down on you, nothing much Antonio Pierce can do but just take it. That guy is a load.
At the 40, 1st and 10. We go back to Barber. Barber with a gaping hole inside the 30 and knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Run down by Kenny Phillips. And the Cowboys alternating backs with a lot of success. Choice with 2 big plays. They go back to Barber, 27-yard gain.
Well, Marion Barber has been the main guy, and sometimes the New York Giants get themselves in trouble, especially early in games when they're amped up and try and over-pursue. That time, Marion Barber just simply snuck out the back door for a big run. Nice job by Flozell Adams there, turning out Umanura and creating the hole.
Now they flank Barber wide right. They go 3 by 1. 3 receivers to the right. Empty backfield. Romo out of the gun. Goes to the left side. And that is caught. And it is Martellus Bennett who turns a 9-yard gain into an 11-yard gain. And that makes it 1st and goal.
One of the real matchup problems that you have when you play the Cowboys is trying to play these 2 tight ends. What do? Martellus Bennett, a huge guy on the outside, and they're trying to cover him with a cornerback, Terrell Thomas. You get a big guy out in space like that, you don't know whether to bring a linebacker out there on him that can match up size-wise. You bring a corner because he's so athletic and so fast. And once again, they're splitting these guys out.
Bennett is 6'7", 266. Barber's the back, and Barber with a pass to the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown.
Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo on the double team just take everything back in the end zone with them. These guys are so big that no matter what you try to do to come off the double team, that time Fred Robbins, no match for those 2 big guys.
Nick Folk for the extra point. 2 big 3rd down conversions. 1 on a reception, 1 on a draw by Choice. And then the first touchdown for the Cowboys in their new digs. Marion Barber, 7-3 Dallas. Meanwhile, the extra people here are outside. You can buy a party pass for $29. You have 80,000 seats and about 20 to 25,000 people can stand. And we might set a new NFL attendance record tonight. The old record is 103,000 in Mexico City. And this is Sonoris Moss, and he slips on the turf at the 24-yard line. So will we go to 6 figures tonight? By the looks of it, yeah. From the 25 now, the Giants start this drive. Cowboys on top 7-3 with 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. And Manning has it tipped and incomplete, and that's Anthony Spencer, number 93, starting now this season, knocking it down at the line of scrimmage, intended for the tight end, Kevin Boss.
Well, for so long, it's been Greg Ellis over there. Now it's Anthony Spencer. He's going to drop back with the tight end Boss, and that is a play that he certainly had an opportunity to make. It's really one of the tough parts about playing this Cowboys defense. About the time you get used to one of them coming off the edge to Marcus Ware, then you get Anthony Spencer. They're pretty good at disguising it.
2nd and 10. Jacobs behind Manning. Brandon Jacobs. Punishing runner. Gain of 3. Popped by Brady James. Let's take a look at that Dallas D.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State.
Jay Ratliff, Auburn.
Igor Olshansky,
Oregon. Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Grady James, LSU.
Keith Brooking, Georgia Tech.
Marcus Ware, Troy.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Ken Hamlin, Arkansas.
Orlando Scandrick, Los Alamitos High School.
They took Dominic Hickson back to the locker room, so the Giants are missing one wideout right now. It's 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun, Smith set to the right side. 3 receivers to the left. Manning gets hit as he throws. Arm coming forward. The pass is incomplete, and that's DeMarcus Ware. Big number 94 who comes around the edge as fast as they get to knock it down.
Well, that time DeMarcus Ware started on the right side, moved late to the left side to try and mess up the protection scheme of the Giants, and then he's just going to go right around McKenzie and get his hands on Eli's arm. Just too quick here. We saw that last year, and especially with all this crowd noise, these offensive linemen just cannot get off on the snap.
43-year-old Jeff Fiegels, who went to the Pro Bowl last year. Well, that one won't hit the big jumbotron either. He's unlikely to hit it. He's a directional kicker, and he punted that one to the near sideline where it's fair caught by Creighton. 3:03 to go in the opening quarter. 7-3 Cowboys. A lot of ex-Cowboys here tonight. Rayfield Wright, who went into the Hall of Fame in 06. There's Randy White, who went in 94. TD. Tony Dorsett, Larry Allen is here. The Cowboys' great guard, Bob Lilly, Hall of Famer, class of 1980. Romo out of the gun has that one deflected, and that's rare. Tony last year had very few passes. Only 3 were blocked or deflected at the line of scrimmage all year, and that's the new Giants defensive coordinator, Bill Sheridan, who had coached the linebackers. And Chris, he takes over when Steve Spagnuolo goes to St. Louis.
Yeah, had a little mini crisis, I guess, when OCU Manura walked out of a meeting one time. He got yelled at a little bit. Came back the next day in the locker room. There were wanted posters all over. So everybody laughed. He called himself an idiot, and everybody went about their business.
The New York media world, there's no such thing as a mini crisis. And that's intended for Williams, and that pass will fall incomplete, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 10.
You know, we talked about Roy Williams a little bit earlier, and here's a guy that was clearly stung. He just could not believe all the criticism that he got a season ago, especially from some of the great Dallas Cowboy Hall of Famers. But to be perfectly honest with you, he was not good a season ago. He just simply was not getting open. He was left in one-on-one situations, and it got so bad at one point that every time they called a play to him, they called switch and put T.O. in his spot so T.O. could get the ball.
3rd down and 10. Williams wide to the right. Pierce barking at the defensive calls. And that pass is intercepted. Williams ran inside, and it's Bruce Johnson to the outside for a touchdown. A rookie free agent out of Miami of Florida. Johnson picks it off and goes in for the touchdown.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what happened there. Antonio Pierce with the audible. He saw Tony Romo audible. Antonio Pierce checked the coverage. Romo didn't have time to change it again, and he found the young rookie free agent, the only rookie free agent to make the Giants this year, Bruce Johnson. He got picked on a little last week, but what a play here tonight.
And the Giants, on a night when they have injuries in that secondary and have to play a guy like Johnson a little bit more, see it pay off. Tynes with the extra point to give New York a 3-point lead with 2:46 remaining in the quarter before a stunned crowd at the moment.
Watch Antonio Pierce. He sees Romo check. Pierce then reverses, checks. Look at all the guys change their coverage. Romo now doesn't have what he thinks he has and just makes a horrible throw. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if he didn't get his hand on the ball or not, but Bruce Johnson is going to fall off his guy in his zone. This is no longer man, which maybe Romo thought that it was, and makes the play. And how about that for a special moment for that young man? That ball just totally got away from Tony Romo.
It's a bad throw, but is he throwing it for Williams or for Creighton? You got Williams coming inside short, Creighton going outside long.
I don't think Bruce Johnson cares.
What do you think?
I have no idea. I think that was an oops.
That was an oops. Jason Garrett getting together with Romo. Funny how things work. I mean, a couple of years ago, Garrett is not only a hot young assistant, he may be the hottest, and turned down the Baltimore job, which eventually went to John Harbaugh, who did such a magnificent job. And then Wade Phillips was under a lot of fire, obviously. And when Dallas was embarrassed on the final day of the season at Philadelphia, 44-6, odds were that Phillips wasn't coming back.
I didn't think he'd survive the plane ride home, to be honest with you. I thought they would have fired him then. They didn't. And it's been paying off a little bit so far.
5-yard line. This is Felix Jones. And Jones is going to drop the ball. And it's loose. The Giants had a great opportunity and still may have picked it up with a second chance. Mike Carey comes to the bottom of the pile. Of course, the Giants think they have it, but that's to be determined by the men in the black and white. And they do have it. First fumble of Jones's brief career. So Jones, as we said before, a home run hitter, coughs one up, hits into a double play.
It was such a strange looking play. Felix Jones just sort of casually going through there. And I think it was Brian Keel who got his hands on the football. And boy, it just looks like, and that's really not even much of a hit. We've seen balls slip out of people's hands so easily tonight. You just wonder if all the heat and humidity down there just on the hand, but that just cannot come out. In the NFL, you're going to get hits like that all the time.
And Sonoris Moss, of all things, a wide receiver, couldn't hold on, but then Keel is there. And the Giants take over in prime position at the 27-yard line with a 3-point lead, and the Cowboys have already turned the ball over twice on successive plays. You got Derek Hagan in the game for the Giants because Hickson's back in the locker room, and this is Jacobs rumbling for a gain of 7 yards before he's taken down by Ware, that time playing run coverage.
Well, I think they're coming up with a good strategy here. They're taking the tight end, Kevin Boss, across the field, and if you want to slow down DeMarcus Ware, the best way to do it is run right at him. All of a sudden now he's not coming off the edge. And Brandon Jacobs, one of those guys, no matter who hits him, he's falling forward for 2, 3, 4, that time about 5 yards after first contact.
Giants with trips to the left in this set. And Travis Beckham would be the number 3 tight end at the bottom of the screen. And Manning's going to call a timeout. So it'll be a 30-second timeout. Isn't it funny as you look at Tom Coughlin, how crazy sports are, especially football. A couple of years ago, most Giant fans wanted Coughlin out, right? And then they had the miracle run at the end of '07. And then Wade Phillips looks like he's the genius who comes in and gets them home field advantage, and the Giants knock them out. And now it's completely reversed.
Yeah, but for Tom Coughlin, here's a guy that really has been successful everywhere. You know, he was in Jacksonville. He wasn't the most player-friendly coach early on. All the different things with, you know, you had to be 5 minutes early and move your clock up, and he was driving some of the veteran players crazy. And yet he is stuck with the system, and as it is with most coaches, when you win, they start accepting your style.
I've always looked at his watch in our meetings. It used to be 5, then it went to 7. Yesterday, it's 11 minutes.
Bob Costas wouldn't make it 5 minutes with Tom.
No way. On 2nd and 4, that's Brandon Jacobs who gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. We went to a party last night to inaugurate the stadium here, and somebody went up to Bob Costas and said, "So what do you think of the place?" And Bob said, "It'll do."
That's my man.
About $1.15 billion, I think. The 150 is in 150 million on top of the billion. Ahmad Bradshaw in the game in this set. Jones on the bench here. 3rd down and 4. Play clock all the way down as Manning takes a snap. Good pocket, throws over the middle. Caught at the 5-yard line by Steve Smith. A big quarter for him. Hamlin makes the tackle. Smith, the most experienced of the Giants receivers coming into the season, a grinder, a possession guy, but 3 big plays tonight.
Check out David Deal, the left tackle here, doing a nice job getting out, meeting that intersection point with DeMarcus Ware. And for Steve Smith, I tell you, I was really impressed with what he did. This guy is not a blazer by any means, but his routes are so precise and his moves are so good. He's going to be a good player in this league for a long time.
Catches a lot of balls inside the numbers, 2/3 of his receptions last season. Jacobs. And Jacobs tries to keep those legs going, but that's Keith Brooking, another new Cowboy, longtime Atlanta Falcon, spent 11 seasons there. And one of the reasons Wade Phillips brought him in is that Wade, when he was down at Atlanta as the defensive coordinator, had him. And that will do it for the first quarter on opening night at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. End of 1, the New York Giants 10 and the Dallas Cowboys 7. NBC Sunday Night Football will continue after these messages. And now the second quarter commences with a 2nd down and goal.
And so far this season, the Giants 0 for 4 down in the green zone, as Tom Coughlin calls it. They have not been able to score touchdowns in this situation.
They have Bradshaw as the back. 2nd and goal. Cowboys blitz. And they get Bradshaw, stack him up back at the 11-yard line. And that's Anthony Spencer leading the charge. Jay Ratliff is there as well. And now it will be 3rd down and goal.
Well, Tom Coughlin talked about it last night, how difficult it is to run outside against the Dallas Cowboys, and here's why. They just have brilliant players on the outside. That time Anthony Spencer had the presence of mind to get completely outside the bunch, and so he was able to maintain, contain, and make the play.
7-yard loss on that run. Spears was also in on the action. Ball at the 12. Manning out of the gun. Manning to the left side, and that's caught at the 10-yard line, but then taking a shot with Smith after a gain of 2. Mike Jenkins is right there, so they'll limit the Giants to a field goal attempt. Says Wade.
One of the tough parts about playing against the Cowboys is very seldom do you get one-on-one coverages. They like these switch coverages where it looks like you're going to be running a route on one guy, they release you to the next guy, and then end up doubling up somebody else. So you never feel totally comfortable as a quarterback when you're throwing the ball because you don't know who's going to be the guy guarding you out there.
28-yard attempt for the only NFL player to have been born in Scotland, Lawrence Tynes. And that one is good. Cash in for 3 off the turnover. Minute and a half into the second quarter. 6-point New York lead. Well, there's the stadium in the foreground. The other lights are for where the Texas Rangers play at the ballpark. How big is this place? That's the equivalent of a 32-story building. The roof alone, 661,000 square feet. That's almost a quarter mile, 1,225 feet end to end. And you could put 2 St. Louis arches from end to end flanking the stadium. If you turn the Empire State Building on its side, it's about the length of this place.
So you're trying to tell me it's big. Is that what you're going for here?
Well, like I told Bob on the pregame show, knowing Jerry Jones with that St. Louis arch, Jerry could probably get the Mississippi River diverted to run by the place. 13-7. The Giants on top by 6. This kickoff is fielded at the 8-yard line by Felix Jones. And Jones takes it back up to the 27. Chase Blackburn making the stop. So now here comes Romo. That was a very effective second drive for Tony tonight, who starts the night 5 out of 9, 30 yards. What do you think the personality as the season develops of this offense is going to be, Chris?
I think it's really on his shoulders now, you know, but tonight there's so much emotion out here that I think the Cowboys just need to settle down a little bit. They're a good running football team. They have a huge offensive line. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't be afraid to go in and fist fight a little bit against the New York Giants.
Barber. And Barber for a gain of about 8. Let me just correct one thing. Lawrence Tynes is the only active player born in Scotland. There were a couple of others in the past. So here's a Johnny Walker to you, Lawrence.
We got the big fullback here. Deion Anderson's going to come in and just lead block right through the middle here. This is the kind of man-on-man football you like to see if you're the Dallas Cowboys. If they can get the running game going and that kind of physical presence going, then those play-action passes start to work.
Barber and Choice are now together in the backfield. And this is Barber up to the 39-yard line.
You have to give the Dallas Cowboys a little credit on defense. They were under siege there, a long drive. They had to hold up twice in the red zone. They had to overcome an interception for a touchdown, and yet with all that happening, they're sitting right in the game now with it just 13-7. So good stand defensively.
On that last play, they also had Jones in the game. He started on a wing, so they had all three of their backs in on that play. And the Giants are offside here because sprinting across is Osi Umenyiora. Tore up his knee preseason last year, missed the whole year.
Offside. Defense number 72 was unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still first down, 5 yards to go.
Osi, big play last week with a sack and a strip, and he picked up the fumble and ran it in for a touchdown against Washington.
You think he just didn't know they didn't snap the ball? I thought he was going to do a full loop. That's about as far as I've seen anybody going without hesitating.
Well, he was depressed last year. We asked him last night, what'd you do? Did you watch the games? He said, I only watched about 3 or 4 games. I couldn't watch the rest. 1st and 5. Barber to the outside. And Barber tough to take down, but Terrell Thomas gets there and is able to knock him down after a minimal gain.
You know, just so many changes and so many injuries in the secondary to the New York Giants. Aaron Ross, their starting quarterback, out with a hamstring. Kevin Dockery, their nickel back, out. So it's been a little makeshift. Michael Johnson hurt his shoulder last week. Kenny Phillips has a recurring knee injury. So they're just kind of making it up on the fly right now. But so far the secondary's hanging in there and making big plays.
Romo, that shoulder move. And then the pass over the middle is caught by Miles Austin, who got free for a long touchdown last week, and then a flag comes in at the end of the play. Michael Johnson had the coverage on the play. Mike Carey with the call.
Personal foul. Major face mask. Defense number 20. Coming into the end. 15 yards, automatic. First down.
And that's Michael Johnson.
You know, every once in a while you can see a quarterback take a deep breath and relax and look like themselves. Tony Romo that time stepped up in the pocket, and the one thing the New York Giants wanted to keep him from doing today is getting comfortable on the move. If they can keep him sort of fenced in back there, they feel like they can really frustrate him and cause some problems. There's the face mask at the end of the play.
Mike Carey using the adjective major. And this is a toss back to Creighton, swinging to the right. Romo is out there to block inside the 10 and knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Cowboy razzle-dazzle. Jones had it, tossed it to Creighton. He scored a touchdown last week, and he'll take some extra time on the ground here.
Now that time Matthias Kiwanuka thought he had this one figured out, was screaming down the line and left nobody out there. Roy Williams did a great job. He just sensed when Creighton was coming at him and went after Corey Webster. You can see Kiwanuka thinking he was going to chase down the back and Rutrow. But Roy Williams did a great job blocking in the game last week and had another good one there.
But Creighton is still down. And it will be first down and goal as they work on Patrick when we come back. 13-7 New York.
First and goal, Dallas.
Well, that's a blowaway figure for the Giants, the best rushing team in the league last year, averaging over 150 yards per game. 2 yards for the Giants on 8 carries, 72 for Dallas. There's Creighton. Creighton got hit at the end of the play, and Chris, I thought it was close enough they could have called a foul here too on Boley.
Yep, finishing it up, and you could see Creighton's head just getting smashed down the ground. It was a bit late.
Sam Hurd comes in to take his spot, number 17. You got Austin split to the right. You got Romo in the gun on first and goal.
Kill! You there?
Barber on an inside draw. And he stopped at the 1-yard line. Marion Barber, who scored the Cowboys' first touchdown tonight. Boley and Pierce in on the tackle. 2nd down and goal as we tick down to the 10-minute mark, 2nd quarter.
Some interesting gamesmanship going on down here. That time, Cowboys in with 3 wide receivers and tried to run it. Now they come back in with their 3 tight end set. And the Giants realize they don't have the right personnel in the field.
New York, their 2nd.
Timeout Giants. It is 2nd down and goal. Barber is the back. He has Anderson as the fullback in front of him at the 1-yard line. And it's Barber seeking his 2nd touchdown of the night. And Barber does not get in. Stop inside the 1-yard line.
Well, it's always the key when you get down the goal line. Those defensive linemen are going to just submarine underneath and try and create a pile. And here come the linebackers up over the top. That time it went to the New York Giants. So Kiwanuka got just enough of them, and Umanura as well, to hold them out.
3rd and goal from inches away. Same set here except for Hurd, who comes in motion. The fake this time to Barber. They swing it to the outside, and it's caught by Witten for a touchdown. Tony Romo loves to go to Jason Witten. 3rd down. Pierce was there with the coverage. But Witten, as we said before, if not the best, certainly in the top 3 of tight ends in the National Football League.
Great play fake by Romo, and Chase Blackburn on the outside really wasn't fooled. Witten just ran a better route. You can see Blackburn, he peeked in the backfield for 1 second. He looked back at Tony Romo for 1 second, and when he came back down, Jason Witten was gone.
Fault for the extra point. The Cowboys in 4.5 minutes go 73 yards, 8 plays, 6 of those on the ground. The touchdown pass to Witten, and Dallas retakes the lead, 14-13. This is an unbelievable sight. You drive in from like 5 miles away and you can see it, and it just looms. And you get here and it is spectacular. Beeler to kick off, and he kicks that one 3 yards into the end zone. And Sonoris Moss will bring it back out to the 25-yard line. Eli and friends. What better thing for a quarterback than to make 34 consecutive starts with the same 5 guys up front? You've got David Deal, the left tackle. A lot of people call him Seibert, but Rich calls himself Soibert. At least he did tonight. Sean O'Hara is the center. Tom's son-in-law, Chris Snee at right guard, and the pensive one, Kareem McKenzie at right tackle.
You know, I thought it was really interesting in talking to David Deal last night about his training for this season. We'll get into it in a minute.
Deal the left tackle, 1st down. Giants begin from the 24-yard line. Only 2 rushing yards tonight for them. And they get about 3 more here as Bradshaw goes through the middle.
But Deal decided that he was going to do basketball training. Got hooked up with Michael Jordan's trainer. And he said, I just started pretending like I was playing basketball and my quarterback was the goal. In the same way you would try and defend a guy to keep him and have to go deep around you or whatever the case may be. And he thought that training and the learning of how to get to the intersection point, dropping back, finding the right point that I have to get to meet somebody like DeMarcus Ware.
2nd and 6 after a gain of 4, which was double the Giants' rushing yardage before that play for the night. More than 8 minutes to play. The pass out into the flat. Next, Manningham escaping a tackle. And Mario, who scored a touchdown last week on a pass from Manning, was able to snap out of an Orlando Scandrick tackle and turn that into a 1st down.
Well, that time was start with David Deal with a quick set on the outside, but then it was Mario Manningham, and this is what he did last week for a touchdown. On that one a week ago, it was Eli Manning who checked to an audible, simply where a play they hadn't run since training camp. A Deal there with this very quick set. Made the play on DeMarcus Ware, but this Manningham is becoming the playmaker in the eyes of Eli Manning.
Eli telling us last night, big play potential and explosive. From the 42, with Bradshaw the back. He stays in the block, buys Manning time, fires over the middle, and that's caught in Dallas territory by Mario Manningham for another first down.
Boy, I tell you what a nice job by Ahmad Bradshaw here. He was going to make the play fake, but he realizes right away that his quarterback's in trouble, so he just comes back and makes a big block right there on the end against Anthony Spencer, and that bought enough time there for Eli to make the completion. Manningham just looks like he is very comfortable. Watch him come back to the ball. These Giant receivers, maybe not the most talented in the world, but they are very well coached. Their technique is nearly flawless.
1st and 10. And again he goes to Manningham, and again he slips a tackle, but not the second time. That's DeMarcus Ware saying, enough of that. Let's check in with Andrea.
Well, obviously a lot of focus on the Giants receivers. Now, after the first series of the game, doctors looked at Dominic Hickson's right knee. They sent him back in for one play. It wouldn't hold up. They took him in the locker room with a right knee sprain. He came out wearing a brace, but they're calling his return questionable.
Thank you, Andrea. Eli, in describing Hickson last night, called him consistent, can play any spot. 2nd down and 12 from the 45-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Bradshaw to the 39-yard line. Ahmad Bradshaw. And will set up a 3rd down and 5 for the Giants.
I think Chris Nee is the best of the offensive linemen for the New York Giants. This time pulling around on the lead play. They love the power coming out and around here, leading up through. And when he can turn the corner and start going up the field, nearly impossible for James to be able to get off that block in time to make the tackle.
Snee told us last year, I said, you have a bad day at the office, you go home, you talk to your wife who's the coach's daughter. What does she say? She says, suck it up. 3rd and 5. And that pass is a little too long, and the coverage is very good. Intended for Manningham. Scandrick staying right with him. It'll be 4th down.
Really nice play that time by Orlando Scandrick, one of their talented young corners. He's there in the slot playing against Manningham. The Cowboys come on a blitz, and that means no help, nobody around. That time the safety did come over a little bit late, but Scandrick, no problem at all with probably the quickest of these Giants receivers.
Now Fiegels to punt, and this has absolutely zero chance of hitting the board with him standing at the 50-yard line. But one official is assigned to watch to see if it does hit the jumbotron, and that's Fiegels with an angled kick, which he does so beautifully, and the Giants are able to scoop it out of bounds at the 1-yard line. And that's one reason Fiegels still has a job at age 43. He'll never get an ARP card. Felix Jones is the running back as they spot the ball at the 5 after it was knocked first at that point and then out of bounds by the Giants on the coverage, and the pass is incomplete, and they tried to get it into Witten. Pierce had his back to him, and that provided enough coverage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, I thought Jason Garrett did a great job on that last drive. We talked about it as it got started. It looked like the Cowboys really just needed to get themselves settled down. They came out, pounded a few runs, then got back to their play action game. And at least so far in this one, the only difference in the ball game has been the fact that the Cowboys have 2 touchdowns in the red zone, and the Giants are kicking field goals.
Yardage about even. The Giants have gained 129 and the Cowboys 123. 2nd and 10. Romo, they're going to run a draw here, and this time it's going to be stopped and stuffed in the backfield, because right there to make the play is Michael Boley, one of the new additions to the Giants. He served a league-imposed 1-game suspension last week. Picked him up from Atlanta.
Coming off a hip surgery as well, and Antonio Pierce called him the world's oldest rookie. He came out, he hasn't been able to practice at all with the team, but they really think he can be a 3-down linebacker, meaning that he's as good in pass coverage as he is against the run. They think he's going to really help them with the pass rush eventually.
3rd and 10 now, 4.5 to go in the half. Tashard Choice flanks Romo. give it to Choice. And Choice gets taken down at the 8-yard line. Good tackle. Kenny Phillips battling through, and he'll probably fight it all year. A knee issue. Is able to make the play. Big play there. 4th and 7 to pin him deep.
Boy, a really big play that time by Kenny Phillips. It looked like this thing was going to pop out of there, and just one-on-one open field tackle, because that thing had a chance. That had a chance to not only be a first down, to maybe be better than that.
Now Matt McBride to punt. And Bradshaw is back to receive it. And that kick just goes underneath the Jumbotron, fielded at the 34-yard line. And Bradshaw brings it back out to the 42-yard line.
Well, Brandon Jacobs, we've seen him a little bit already. Hasn't gotten it going too much tonight. But here's a guy that you talk about a horse. No defensive back wants any part of him. We were talking to Terrence Newman, and he was begging the guys to cut him, do anything. Don't let him get in on our secondary, because, boy, when he does, you see plays like that against Landry of the Washington Redskins. Those are ones that, what they call it in the NBA, getting posterized. Got posterized with some of those runs.
I think of Keith Jackson, he would call him a horse and a half.
Yes, indeed. Time for the horse to get saddled up and go here.
That horse right now has been a pony to this point with 7 carries for 9 yards. But he'll get going. 42-yard line. First down. Jacobs. And the Cowboys are right there again. A trio of them led by Anthony Spencer, having a good first half.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys a week ago got gouged on defense, gave up 170 plus yards to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And what made that strange is they had just fired their offensive coordinator about 2 weeks before. It was really almost startling to see how ineffective they were against the run. But so far here tonight, after spending a heavy week of practice on their run defense, they're fitting these gaps much better.
Completely different story. 2nd and 11. Here comes the blitz. We'll pick it up. And then breaking the tackle is Smith. And Smith is stopped at the 46-yard line.
You know, I guess it's understandable that this defense got off to a little bit of a slow start. They have a couple of new guys in there. Igor Olshansky, who Wade Phillips had when he was in San Diego. Keith Brooking, who he had in Atlanta. And he said the interesting thing about Brooking was, he said, I knew he could play, but more than that, I knew what kind of guy he was. You know, sometimes in free agency, you get guys that aren't the kind of guys you want. But Keith Brooking is a guy I like.
David Deal's shoe came off, so the Giants have Will Beatty, a rookie out of Connecticut, in right now at left tackle. 3rd down and 6. Manning guns it over the middle, and the pass is low and incomplete, intended for Steve Smith. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning, which comes officially at 1:57. Dallas 14, the Giants 13. .157, the Giants will punt on 4th down, and the Cowboys are going to be pinned deep because Creighton takes it along the sideline and goes out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. Let's go back to the last play prior to the 2-minute warning.
A big miss by Eli Manning. It would have been down in field goal range. You can see on the right-hand side of your screen, Steve Smith with a great move against Orlando Scandrick. Gets open inside, and Eli just missed it. He's going to turn around, though, and say, you should have broke that off a little bit harder. We saw his body language, but that was just a miss that time by Eli.
Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin are here tonight. And Emmett is here. Emmett will be going into the Hall of Fame next August. The other two are already in. And Roger Staubach is here as well. And the Cowboys with the lead. Deep in their own territory. Dallas has all of its timeouts remaining. Tony Romo out of the gun on 1st down. Protection's good. The pass is right there. Creighton fields it on the run. Flag is down, however, as Creighton gets taken down up at the 47-yard line. That's Justin Tuck now, who is down on his hands and knees at the 6-yard line. Justin Tuck, the great defensive end for the Giants, is down. And here's Mike Carey.
Offense number 76. Pass the distance to the goal, still first down.
That's the end of that play as Flozell Adams gets the tripping call.
Player in under 2 minutes requires his team timeout.
Maybe the easiest call of all, right side of your screen. You're going to see Tuck going back inside and Flozell with a serious trip. And for Justin Tuck, you just hope he's all right.
That is the first penalty against the Cowboys tonight. And of course, Flozell Adams, who's had a pretty stellar career. But as you look there, I mean, what you think about him, and he's mad at himself. I mean, how many times do you hear holding, number 76, offense, first down? But you hear it a lot. He gets a lot of holding calls.
False
Still
starts.
through the years, false starts. Here you have a tripping call.
He's just
but
adding
still
to his repertoire here, you know. He's just adding another one. But he is a good player. 5 Pro Bowls. You can't doubt it. And speaking of good, that guy right there is a nightmare. When they bring him down inside on guards, they just simply cannot keep up with him. Here, Tuck's going to stab, come out. Now watch this quick move. Get inside, and Flozell knows there's nothing else he can do. But boy, that took away a huge play by Patrick Creighton. They jumped Jason Witten on the underneath route, and Creighton had it out to midfield, so huge change of momentum there.
Giants a little thin along that defensive front as well as the defensive backfield as well, because Chris Canty, the former Cowboy who was looking very much forward to playing against his former teammates, is hurt, so he is inactive tonight.
Cowboys have to be careful here. They don't give it back to the Giants with too much time on that clock.
1st and 16. You heard Mike Carey at the end of the call say an injured player within the last 2 minutes cost the team a timeout, so the Giants will have none when they get the ball back. And that is caught on the outside, and that is Williams breaking a tackle and finally taken out of bounds. He got out of a Corey Webster would-be tackle, and he's able to move the chains.
Corey Webster, the best of the Giants cornerbacks. But watch Roy Williams come out of this cut. That's how he made this play. No question, he is in much better shape than what he was when he left the Lions a season ago. From February on, he was working out 4 days a week with Tony Romo, and it simply shows he was not making these kind of plays in one-on-one situations last year.
First catch for him tonight, and a gain of 18. 90 seconds to halftime. Romo on the move. And that intended for Creighton, and he gets blanketed on the play, and that is incomplete. Terrell Thomas with the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Now, Terrell Thomas got picked on a bit last week. There's Justin Tuck on the sideline, and boy, when they get all those guys in the game, it is just amazing. I thought Justin Tuck had a chance to be the MVP of the Super Bowl when they upset the Patriots in that one. They got him down inside on the Patriots guards, and I haven't seen anybody yet that's been able to block him one-on-one in that situation.
Flexing his arm, his shoulder. 2nd down and 10 at the 24. Romo hangs in the pocket, and that pass is picked off. And Tony Romo throwing it into the hands of Kenny Phillips. Incomplete. It bounced. And Phillips thinks he has a touchdown, and Romo is saying, hold everything. Wait a second. It was a juggle. Coughlin comes out onto the field. Did it hit his foot or did it bounce?
Oh, I don't know.
Take a look at this. It's off Witten's foot right to Phillips, and that it has to be reviewed upstairs, and it will be. It looked to the Cowboys as if it was incomplete, but we took our first glance at it, and it doesn't appear to hit the ground.
We'll renew the last play with instant replay.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Wouldn't this be something?
Could be the second one of the night. Bruce Johnson with the one earlier.
Well, his hand, the back
no
of his
doubt
foot,
about it.
Never touches the turf.
No doubt about it.
Overturn the call on the field, which was incomplete. Phillips is going to get the interception. And then they're going to say incomplete if the whistle blew here. as Phillips goes into the end zone, they could make the case for the play being stopped by the whistle at that point, incomplete. The Cowboys giving up on it. Clearly, this is a play that's going to result in the Giants getting the turnover.
But I don't think they're going to get the run after the fact.
They ruled incomplete. If the whistle had been blown, and I'm sure it was because you saw the sign incomplete, that would be the end of the play. So it would negate Phillips' touchdown, but it would give him the interception, and they would have the ball at that spot.
And more importantly, you heard the whistle blow at the tail end of that play. And for Tony Romo, it was not a very good throw, well behind Jason Witten.
Listen for the sounds here. You see the motion is made incomplete. Now listen for the whistle. Well, I didn't hear a whistle there. You hear a whistle after he gets into the end zone.
But you could see the official waving his hands incomplete. Unless something really strange happens here, I think it's the interception will stand and the ball will be placed around wherever it was, the 25 to 30 yard line.
Mike Carey has taken a look, and here's his call.
After review, the ball hit the foot of the receiver and then was caught for an interception by the defense. Since the ball was blown dead on an incomplete, New York can get the ball at the 28-yard line, but the advance is nullified. First down.
Exactly what we thought was going to happen in that case, even though we didn't hear the whistle on the audio. The play was ruled incomplete. The Cowboys stopped covering what would have been an interception run back, and another look, and this was very clear, and Phillips gets the pick.
Great heads-up play, but let's be perfectly frank now. Tony Romo has thrown two very bad balls. That one in a very dangerous position, well behind Jason Witten, certainly contributed to that fluky kind of an interception. But that is twice now he has hurt his team with really bad throws.
The Giants now at the 28-yard line. They do not have a timeout. They have 81 seconds. They are already close to field goal range. Only need a couple of more yards to make it not easy for Tynes, but easier. But they're thinking touchdown right now. Bradshaw is the sole back on first down. And Manning will throw, and that's caught on the outside. Into the 22 goes Mario Manningham, stopped by Newman. And the Giants, even without a timeout, they can afford to take a little bit of time and not give the Cowboys any time at the end. On 2nd and 4. And that pass is incomplete. Marcus Spears was able to deflect it at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you can see every time that the Cowboys line up in that soft cover 2 shell with the inside linebackers in tight, they think they can fit those slants in there, but they better be careful. These two safeties will jump some throws. Gerald Sensabaugh, he's a dangerous guy. He may get beat over the top, but he also has a chance to pick one of those off.
3rd and 4. And that's a pass that will be juggled in the end zone and caught for a touchdown by Manningham. In the back corner of the end zone, beating Dallas's best DB, Terrence Newman, touchdown. Manning to Manningham, 22 yards on the 3rd and 4.
And what I loved about, did he get the ball? Yes, he did. What I loved about the route that time by Manningham, did you see him go back and get on the good side of Terrence Newman? Instead of being willing to just run down the sideline and giving Newman a chance to catch up to the ball, he cut back in front of him and created that separation. Great play.
Tynes for the extra point with 46 seconds, and the Giants lead 20-14. And this is like a Ringling Brothers act with the the ball bouncing off the foot of Witten, resulting in the turnover and the juggling grab right here, and it's a 6-point lead, and Dallas is going to get the ball with all of its timeouts.
Yeah, and it's really a great read that time by Eli. It looked like it was going to be a too-deep safety look, and so you would never make that throw. But Eli saw all of the blitzers up around the line of scrimmage. And if you're going to blitz, that means at best you can go single high with the safety. And of course, all set up by the Jason Witten play, the kick off his foot and into the hands of Phillips.
And the circus has come to town. And the Giants are the ringmasters right now because they benefit from both plays. The Cowboys have turned the ball over 3 times, and that would be Eli Manning's 100th career touchdown pass.
Well, it's been sort of a carnival atmosphere here in the stadium. We're getting a bit of a carnival game.
Under the big top. 5-yard line, Miles Austin. Gets a block from Hurd. Gets the ball all the way up to the 35-yard line. The Cowboys with 3 timeouts and 40 ticks of the clock. The Manning family, the touchdown passes. Let's go back to Papa Archie in the middle with 125. Peyton, of course, at 334, and a lot more to come. And we have him on Sunday Night Football next week. Colts at Arizona. And then Eli in triple figures as well.
Archie and Peyton getting their hair cut by the same guy, don't you think? That similar look.
Better look.
Yeah.
From the 34, first down. That pass is caught up at the 43. Witten trying to get out of bounds to save a timeout. He doesn't. Then the Cowboys were going to have to take it right here anyway.
Where the Giants corners and linebackers are getting up right in the face of these receivers and challenging them. A bit of a surprise for me with the fact that they've got so many guys out and banged up, and yet they still are not afraid of these wide receivers and tight ends. Making some big plays out of it.
Been a wild first half, though. I mean, it's opening night. It's Cowboys Stadium. We don't want to overdo it, and everybody's talking about awesome and spectacular and unbelievable. It is. I don't know what else to tell you. I've never seen anything like it.
This screen alone is just remarkable. You know, you kind of hear about it and you sense, oh boy, it must just be overwhelming in the stadium and something that's not fun to watch. And yet when you get in here, it's very proportional to what they're doing. It fills a huge void up there.
Right. It's not a distraction. It's an enhancement. 2nd down and 2 from the 42-yard line. Romo gets jostled as he throws, and that's incomplete. And one thing I did notice early in the game we haven't brought up, Chris, it was 70 or 71 degrees in here when the roof was closed this afternoon, and we get here, and then all of a sudden we're sitting down there on the pregame set, and we start to sweat, and it must have picked up 15 to 17 degrees. They opened up the roof, and it was 87 degrees.
A lot of air conditioning left in a hurry, didn't it? It was really comfortable for a little while.
A little bit better right now. There are the big windows that open up at either end. The sliding glass. 3rd down and 2 now. They're going to give it to Barber to try to get that first down, and he does. And then take a very fast timeout, which they do. Though a couple of extra seconds elapsed coming off the clock. Romo at least trying to get them into field goal range. That scoreboard is 7 stories high. Let's go in. That's a look from inside the scoreboard. I don't know whether we could get John Madden in a plane or inside that scoreboard easier.
It really is remarkable. Honestly, if you had a 30-inch television, I don't know what dimensions the TVs are, but it could not be more clear. I mean, this thing really looks like you're watching just a small television and just crystal clear. The fans would come in early. They were watching the early games, watching Pittsburgh, Chicago before this one. It was really a fun environment.
It weighs 1,200,000 pounds. 600 tons. 1st and 10-ish. from the 45-yard line. Now Romo going to throw. Barber's going to stay inbounds as long as he can and then get forced out of bounds with 13 seconds. Miles Austin with a block, and now the Cowboys putting themselves in field goal position, and with 13 seconds and still a timeout, they can run one more play here.
Well, this is what the Giants fear with Romo, giving him a chance to move up in the pocket and find somebody late. When he gets those extra couple of seconds, he makes big plays, and then it was left to the playmaker outside to make this tackle. Michael Irvin's the only guy that slowed him down.
Right now they'd be looking at about a 46-yard field goal. 13 ticks and one timeout. Here come the Giants on a blitz, and Romo's going to throw for the end zone, and it's juggled and incomplete. Williams, the intended receiver, Corey Webster, right back there with him. It's second down. You have 6 seconds, and Romo and company look over to the bench, and in comes the field goal group.
Boy, Roy Williams had a chance at this one. Corey Webster hesitated for just a minute. He got a hand on it, but couldn't pull that one down. Their feet got tangled a little bit. Those are the kind of plays that you hope your number one makes. That was a tough catch, though.
Now Nick Folk will attempt the field goal. His youngest brother is the kid who kicked the game-winning field goal in Washington's stunner over USC in Seattle yesterday. 47-yard attempt. McBriar puts it down, and the Cowboys are able to get 3. So that big pass to Barber sets up the field goal and shaves the Giant lead to a field goal with 1 second remaining.
Well, you take away a couple of bad throws out there by Tony Romo, and this one's a little one-sided, don't you think?
Absolutely, because Romo right now 10 of 19 for 103. They have had success on the ground. The Giants averaging 1 yard a carry. The Cowboys averaging 5. There's Barber going in for the first touchdown at the new facility. Brandon Jacobs has been limited tonight, the whole Giant attack, but the key for the Giants, the turnovers, the 2 interceptions, that one coming near the end of the first half and overturned by replay. And Romo and Garrett go over things as they will at the half, and there are the numbers for the 2 quarterbacks.
You always think of the New York Giants as being this defensive team and running team and all those sorts of things, but they averaged almost 27 points a game last year. That was their highest mark since 1963, and if they don't lose Plexico at the end of the season, they might have been higher than that. They averaged 5 fewer points a game without him, but they can play offense.
They drafted David Beeler in the 5th round out of SC to be the kickoff guy, because Folk is the field goal kicker, and a very good one, and all Beeler's going to do right here to end the half is squib one. And now Act 2, the second half from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer, and maybe the biggest crowd to ever see a National Football League game. That's to be determined. The record was set in Mexico City back in 2005 at Azteca Stadium. Largest crowd ever in the United States would have been 102,000 and change at the LA Coliseum all the way back in 1957. Giants get the ball. Beeler to kick off. This is Sonoris Moss, and he takes the ball up to the 17-yard line. And let's check in with Andrea.
Well, Al, Giants had only 12 rushing yards in the first half. I asked Tom Coughlin about it. He said we have to get consistency, a better mix of run and pass. That will also help his defense, which has looked quite gassed. Speaking of the defense, Justin Tuck still in the locker room getting x-rays on an injured shoulder. They hope to have him back, Tom Coughlin told me. Dominic Hickson is out. It is very hot and humid down here. At least 4 players on both teams got IVs.
And they'll begin, thank you, Andrea, with Jacobs, the back. Remember, the Giants came out passing tonight, and with success on that first drive, which resulted in a field goal. Brandon Jacobs runs into his own men and then is able to cut it back and turn a 1-yard gain into a gain of 9. Stopped by Gerald Sensabaugh, the safety. It'll be second down and 1.
Well, that really was the story of the first half as far as the New York Giants were concerned. They had to totally rely on Eli Manning. Brandon Jacobs really just not doing much at all. He had 8 carries for 8 yards, but they come right out and try and establish it in the second half. You can almost hear Tom Coughlin at halftime saying, all right, guys, we know who we are. Let's get back to it here.
Second down and 1. Jacobs around the right side this time. A little stiff arm, breaks a tackle. A first down and a lot more as he gets taken out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Taken out of bounds there after stiff-arming Brooking. Sensabaugh with the tackle, and it's a gain of 31 yards for him.
But this is really on DeMarcus Ware on the outside to your right. He gets caught up inside. His job is contained. You cannot let Brandon Jacobs get outside like that. Once he gets into the secondary, almost impossible to get him on the ground. Check out the stiff arm. It doesn't matter who it is, linebacker, defensive lineman, whatever. When he sticks that big paw out there, you are in trouble.
And on top of that, Terrence Newman, 41, will come into the picture, and Newman gets hurt on the play. There he is, 41, runs into his own man, runs into Brooking after Brooking got stiff-armed, and Terrence is still down on the turf.
Yeah, Terrence Newman got faked out or was willingly faked out. Sometimes you see Jacobs coming down the field. It's like, please make a move. But he did. He was very open about it, wasn't he, the other day? He said, he goes, hey, I was in a meeting, and I said, guys, don't let your ego get involved with this thing. If you're a linebacker, just cut this guy. Get him on the ground. Don't leave him to us to tackle. He said everybody in the room started laughing. He said, hey, I'm not joking. You guys have to handle him up front.
It's about as much fun as going the wrong way on a freeway with a truck coming at you.
Keith Brooking coming over 8 straight years. He led the Atlanta Falcons in tackles, and Brady James 4 straight years led the Cowboys in tackles. And in the first game, they were neck and neck. James with 12 and Brooking with 11. So they like the combination, and they've been playing great in the first half. But to start the second half, it has been all Brandon Jacobs.
Check on Newman. There's his replacement. That's Mike Jenkins.
Not a huge loss. They have 2 good cornerbacks backing up Terrence Newman.
So 40 yards on 2 rushing plays to start the second half. The ball is at the Cowboy 42-yard line. And they flip it out here, and that's another slip tackle by Manningham, and Manningham will pick up a first down. Mario Manningham, he's become a master at this. We saw him do it last week. It led to a touchdown. 3rd time he's done it tonight.
And really a horrible throw that time by Eli. Led him right into the tackle, and yet somehow Manningham escaped that. He is really, they've been looking hard, obviously, with Plexico Burris gone now, and they've been trying to come up with a #1 receiver. And I think Mario Manningham, from what we've seen the first 2 weeks, is stepping to the front of the class.
6 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown tonight. Corner blitz. It's overrun. And here comes Bradshaw. And he finally gets taken down by Sensabaugh. But Hamlin came racing through from the outside, ran by him, comes back to help out on the tackle, gain of 19.
Wade Phillips can't believe it. He called the perfect blitz here. Hamlin's going to come right off the edge, and you got to make this tackle. I don't know where he's running. He's running to darkness there. There's nobody out there, and Bradshaw just jumped back inside him. So as well as the Cowboys played on defense in the first half, they're starting to look like what they did against Tampa Bay a week ago now.
Lombardi said run to daylight. You just coined run to darkness. Newman's back in the game. He's at the bottom of the screen. They give it to Bradshaw. And Bradshaw somehow staying on his feet, keeps those legs churning. Should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage, and just with an individual effort takes the ball to the 11-yard line.
Well, we're back in that red zone now for the New York Giants, where they simply have not gotten it done. They haven't gotten it done this season, really, and it's surprising for a football team. And talked to Tom Coughlin last night. He said in the games, they've won 2 of the last 5 games against the Cowboys, and in those games they were 7 for 7 down in the red zone, and so far tonight struggling.
Jacobs is the back here, 2nd down and 7. We got Smith and Manningham on the same side, but only for the moment, because now Smith comes in motion to the right side. And Manning will throw to the right side, and that pass is incomplete. He tried to hit his fullback, Madison Hedgecock, coming out of the backfield, and he gets cold-cocked by Brooking.
Boy, the Cowboys were lucky on that one. A couple of defenders ran into each other in man coverage, and all of a sudden everybody was wide open, and Eli just didn't see it. Check out Terrence Newman back in the game. When Smith makes his break, they've got a collision with Sensabaugh, and everybody on the field standing wide open, and they don't hit it.
3rd down and 7. Stack 3 receivers to the right. Eli throws short and almost has that one picked off at the 10-yard line. That's incomplete. Brady James was there. 4th down, in comes the field goal unit.
Almost looked like Eli didn't see this guy until he started his release and then tried to hold on to it. Like a little concrete in the elbows on a free throw.
Yep.
You know, when I was like, I didn't see him. But really, you have to say the story of the first half of this game was the fact that Eli Manning outplayed Tony Romo. That was really the difference, but they just cannot score touchdowns once they get inside the 20.
29-yard attempt. Jeff Fiegels to hold it 4 times. And that kick is no good. An easy 29-yarder, and Wade Phillips and this crowd jointly pumped up. Cowboys get it back. Jerry wipes his brow. It's a record-setting night because you can seat 80,000. You can put a lot more in with party passes. 105,121, largest crowd to ever witness a regular season game, and a beaming Jerry Jones. That breaks a record that was set in Mexico, and I mentioned before the old record in the United States, the LA Coliseum in 1957. And on 1st down, after the missed field goal, the Cowboys with Jones in front of this record crowd with a gain of 25 to the 45-yard line.
Well, maybe some of the heat taking its toll on the defenses here. But Felix Jones, my goodness, this is what this crowd has been waiting for. His season got cut short last year. They came with a blitz to the inside. Very little support left to the outside. But look at all the missed tackles. Felix Jones is just one of those guys. He is electric in the open field. Averaged about 7.8 yards a carry in college and doing the same thing in the pros.
Run it draw. They run it with all of their backs, and this time it is Jones. He gets taken down by Michael Boley. Largest crowds tonight, number 1. Then you go back to that game in Mexico when the 49ers and Cardinals went there in 05, 103,000. And then think about it. People say, well, Los Angeles won't support football. That is complete garbage. 52 years ago, 102,000 showed up Rams 49ers. The Rams used to draw 100,000 or more than 90 with some regularity. So Jerry accepts some accolades. And it probably won't be the only time they'll put 6 figures into this stadium this season. 2nd down and 8. From the 46-yard line, Romo throws, and that's caught at the 50 by Martellus Bennett. Just a postscript on Los Angeles. What is it about? It's about a stadium. You have a stadium, you have a team, period. Nashville proved it. Jacksonville proved it. Charlotte proved it. And, of course, when you talk about stadiums, they rewrote the book here.
Let me get this straight now. Where do you live again?
I know a little bit about it.
You'd like a couple of home games is what you're saying.
Why not?
Jerry Jones getting some of that $1.1 billion back.
That's right. And you wonder about regular season. The reason it said regular season is that there were 112,000 at a preseason game in Mexico featuring the Cowboys in '94. And that pass is caught by Patrick Creighton at the 50-yard line.
Well, this is one of the favorite coverages here for the New York Giants. They show blitz, and then Antonio Pierce is going to jet his way back underneath the receiver on this side. So they blitz off the corner, and then it's Pierce's job to get out there and cover that slot. That time he does it very effectively, and the Cowboys have to punt.
Matt McBriar to do the booting. And that's fair caught at the 6-yard line by Ahmad Bradshaw. So the Giants start deep in their own territory, up by 3 with 9:15 left in the third. Much like Lovie Smith in Chicago, who took over the defensive play calling and in effect became the de facto defensive coordinator. Same situation with Wade Phillips here. He's taken over the defense. He is not only in effect the defensive coordinator, he's also on the mic sending in the defensive signals to the linebacker Brady James. From the 6-yard line, the Giants begin with a Jacobs run. And that time Newman is able to get there much better.
Yeah, faked me out once and not again. That time Terrence Newman came up and made a really solid tackle on Brandon Jacobs. He did get outside, and it was left up to Newman to make this play, and he did it. Check this out. Very nice.
Terrence Newman, #1 pick. Back in 03, 7th year out of Kansas State. 2nd and 8. Eli under pressure, and then Hedgecock turned around a little too late. Eli was getting pressure from up the middle and had to release it quickly, and Hedgecock couldn't turn around in time. 3rd down and 8.
Well, that time they're coming on a blitz with Brady James coming right up the gut here. And Eli just had to get rid of that a little quicker than what he wanted to, but they also had the good fortune of having DeMarcus Ware drop into coverage on that side. He only does it about 10-15% of the time. They just guessed right that time.
3rd and 8.
See what 105,000 sounds like.
Like an airport runway. And Eli's going to take a timeout. Timeout. 8.5 to go in the third. Family Manning represented tonight by Mama Olivia, Archie's wife, and Abby Manning, who married Eli a little over a year ago. They're looking on. Eli had to take a timeout there. 3rd down and 8 from the 8-yard line. Manning hit as he throws into double coverage, and that's incomplete. Cowboys doing the job on both ends, putting the pressure on and covering the receiver, and you've got a flag down at the 12-yard line.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 54, 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
That is Bobby Carpenter. So instead of having the Giants punt from deep in their own end, 1st down.
Bobby Carpenter, who's been a bit of a disappointment, former #1 draft pick, right off to the right, is going to grab a little jersey. And he got his arm out there. Didn't slow him down.
Little irony there. His father played for the Giants. Rob Carpenter.
Tough call.
1st and 10. 8:25 to go. 3rd quarter. Ball at the 13-yard line. Manning off that pump fake. Throws into coverage. And the pass is incomplete. Intended for Steve Smith. And a flag comes in very late after the play.
Yeah, well, Terrence Newman turned back into Steve Smith there. And if you cut off this route at the top end of it, they're going to call it. They're going to have a little discussion. It's a close call. It's a tough call. But when Newman turned back in and didn't look for the ball.
Defense number 41. The final foul, automatic, 1st down.
I like the call. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was when I saw it for the first time. Instead of turning back to Terrence Newman's left, he turns back into Steve Smith and cuts off his path to the ball. That is pass interference. That's a nice call.
And the call came in very late. It's a 34-yard penalty. And Phillips' reaction says it all. The ball taken across the 50-yard line. Brandon Jacobs, that's a gain of 5.
Well, David Deal obviously fighting the crowd noise out here, but watch what he does. He has to sort of look out, look in. He's got DeMarcus Ware out there, but when it comes time to snap the ball, check him out. His eyes are straight ahead so he can see both ways. And that's how he battles the crowd noise. He's having a good game tonight.
Yeah, he's had a few.
Yeah.
2nd and 6 from the 49. Jacobs, he gets spun down as he crosses the line of scrimmage. That's DeMarcus Ware who made the initial contact. It will be 3rd down and 5 at the Dallas 48-yard line.
Check out Jay Ratliff with the penetration he gets from the nose tackle position. He is just going to shoot right in this gap, and really nobody can slow him down. He just sort of turns sideways in there. Nice run by Jacobs to get around it, but because he had to divert his path, the rest of the Cowboys were able to catch up. No wonder he's a Pro Bowler.
3rd down call at 6. Less than 7 minutes to play in the 3rd. Blitz coming. Manning. And that time the tackle is made on Manningham as Newman trails him parallel to the line of scrimmage and makes sure that Manningham, who's been getting away all night from tacklers, doesn't get away this time.
That was a great play by Terrence Newman. Watch the speed to catch up. He has to go over the top of his own guy and just is too fast. That is the blazing speed. That's what you get with a #1 draft pick. And he is not happy over there on the sideline. He did not like that pass interference call. I think is what he's most upset about.
Fiegels to punt. And Fiegels will have that one fair caught at the 16-yard line by Patrick Creighton. But those 2 penalties very costly because now the Cowboys, instead of getting the ball in midfield, are pinned deep. .6:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Felix Jones is the running back as the Cowboys start from the 17-yard line. Romo stepping up. Dumps it underneath and too high. Intended for Jones. And meanwhile for the Giants, a look at Justin Tuck, and we go to Andrea.
Well, Justin Tuck looked like Tom Coughlin was too optimistic in the half about his return. His left arm is in a sling. X-rays on his shoulder were negative, and MRI likely tomorrow, but he is done for the night, guys.
And that means more of Matthias Kiwanuka, who can go from outside linebacker to defensive end.
You can see his left arm gets extended here when Flozell trips him, and that left arm reaches out. It probably just put too much pressure on that joint. It's a big loss.
And Jones will take off, and that home run hitter is into Giant territory and finally dragged down at the 25-yard line by Thomas and Webster. .56 yards for Felix Jones out of Arkansas.
The Cowboys love this intentional cutback play. You can see Deion Anderson, the fullback, start right, all the motion, all the handoff action goes right, and then he cuts left, and the big guy Felix Jones gets out there. I'm surprised he got caught. That was a heck of a play by the Giants to track him down.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Ball at the 27-yard line, and Romo will turn and give the ball to Barber, and Barber will cut to the near side, and Barber will be taken down, and he's close to a 1st down before he gets run out of bounds by Kenny Phillips.
Giants are starting to lose contain on the outside that time. And Marion Barber, with that nasty stiff arm of his, picked up 10 yards where he really probably shouldn't have had any. Right at the point of contact on the outside, he's going to get a good stiff arm there against Thomas. And that loss of contain cost the Giants there.
From the 17. Barber again. Inside the 10, inside the 5, and Barber is taken out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Webster and Phillips.
Kyle Kozar and Flozell Adams are blowing huge holes open, but watch this cut by Marion Barber. You talk about look like a crab going sideways here. He's going to start to the right. Anderson back the same way. Jump back over in that hole and reaccelerate. And Jason Witten fakes down inside, and then he goes to work on the outside against Michael Johnson. What a drive so far by the Cowboys.
Barber behind Anderson, and no, the Giants are right there to stuff it. For a minimal loss, it'll be second down and goal. Kiwanuka is in on the play. Second down and goal upcoming.
It's just a wild game, isn't it? I mean, just kind of flying up and down and big plays and a lot of excitement. It's been fun.
A lot of turning points. Against the Giants, a lot of success in the red zone over the last 2 seasons. Romo out of the gun on second and goal. Williams to the left. Austin flank to the right with Creighton in the slot to the left. They could also run a draw with Barber as well. They fake the draw to the end zone and incomplete. Intended for Patrick Creighton. That'll make it third down and goal.
I know Tony Romo didn't want to take a chance on this one, but man, he threw that one like a Nolan Ryan fastball. Creighton's going to get the inside release and just going up the field, but that couldn't even get his hands up on time. Check out Tony. Zip. It's a little too hard.
He heard it.
Yeah.
Third and goal. Gun again. And Romo on a quarterback draw. Touchdown, Dallas. Jason Garrett spread them out. If they don't run the draw to Barber, you don't think about Romo. And look at that opening.
Got 4 wide over here, and then Kyle Kozar is going to come down and seal off the last of them. And a walk-in for Tony Romo. Great call, Jason Garrett.
Nick Folk tacks on the extra point, and with 3.5 to play in the third, the Cowboys 83 yards, all rushing on that drive. Lead by 4. There they are.
Yeah, you know what? They are great ambassadors for the game, though. They go over on USO trips all the time, and obviously the guys are a little excited when they show up.
Very. And that kickoff goes through the end zone, and that's why they drafted David Beeler. Rarely will you spend a 5th-round draft choice on a guy to kick off, but they did, and it's paid off. Ahmad Bradshaw is the back, and he gets backed up. That is Igor Olshansky, former San Diego Chargers, stuffing him.
What did Wade Phillips say about Olshansky? Tough like bull. That dude, you can forget about it. Everybody has a gap. If you run in his gap, you're coming out the other way. He is not going to move. Not the greatest pass rusher in the world, but you want to run, you better run somewhere else.
Yeah, that's no bull.
Yeah.
Second down and 10. From the 20. Fake to Bradshaw. Pressure on. Eli stepping up and stepping away and throwing on the run. But too high. Had the man open, too. That was Steve Smith. Good job by Manning to escape the Brady James would-be sack. But then he overthrows Steve Smith.
Boy, Brady James has found a hole now over here on the outside, coming through the gap. He has been getting a lot of pressure on Eli. Eli steps up and just completely misses the throw. Pretty wide open, and I don't think Eli can believe he missed that one.
Manning a little over 50% tonight, 13 of 24 for 162. Third and 10. Dump it off to Bradshaw, and Bradshaw breaks out of a tackle, but doesn't have enough for the first down. It was Ratliff who almost got him down at the line of scrimmage or behind, but still, the Cowboys are able to force a giant punt.
You know, there's been so much made out of these punts possibly hitting the scoreboard, and really maybe 10 feet's about as close as we've seen one come tonight.
Yeah. Now that I'm in here, as opposed to looking at it on television, it's harder than you think, because that scoreboard is not nearly as wide as you would think. And Fiegel's kick is angled toward the near side, and that was an optical illusion. Really didn't come anywhere near the board, and it is out of bounds. Not a good kick, because they're going to mark it at the 43-yard line. So a bad kick for Jeff Fiegel's, a rare one for him, and that one is 30 yards.
Well, I tell you what, this has been the story of the year so far for the New York Giants. That is 6 red zone trips in 2 games, and they only have 12 points to show for it. Mario Manningham, a couple of big plays from outside the red zone, but when this team with the #1 rushing attack in football can't score inside the 20, that's what leaves you in positions like this.
Well, you can make a little too much of missing Plaxico Burress, but that's why they bogged down in the red zone at the end of last season. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Romo stepping away, buying time, throws complete, and that is Michael Johnson whacking Sam Hurd after he makes the catch.
Well, when you get back to the basics of your offense, which is turning around, handing it off behind that big offensive line, it works. And really, it was this same intentional cutback play that pretty much wore out the Giants. The Giants are trying to over-pursue. You see them starting right. The fullback, the tailback, both cutting back left. When you have big Flozell Adams out there in a bad mood, sometimes good things happen.
2nd and a deuce. Here's Barber. And we'll see where they spot it. Either 3rd and short or moving the chains.
You know, Marion Barber in the past in the 4th quarter was such a dynamic factor, but I think because last year he started to play more in the first 3 quarters of the games, his numbers in the 4th quarter weren't nearly as good as what they had been.
To illustrate that, there it is. 4th quarter in 07, 5-1. He had a toe injury toward the end of last year, so that was a mitigating factor. Mike Carey's going to bring the chains in here. That's a 1st down. You know, Chris, when Parcells was here with Barber, you know, he was a great closer. I mean, you'd bring him in, and he would just, the defense was worn down, and he just beat the hell out of it at the end of a game. But now they've got Felix Jones and Tachard Choice. I mean, they've got a nice little 3-headed attack going.
You know, I think it's a little like Devin Hester with the Chicago Bears. You know, once he was made an every down wide receiver, some of the kick returns were hurt. And so, I mean, you know, you want an every down back, you're going to pay a price.
At the 46 on 1st down, Hurd in motion. Romo, a lot of time. Romo going deep, and only Giants are there. And it's picked off at the 4 by Kenny Phillips. And his 2nd of the night and the 3rd Romo interception. And now Pierce wants a foul at the end of the play. The pass intended for Sam Hurd, but the Giants with great coverage. And another bad pass by Romo.
Kenny Phillips was standing right underneath this. Looked like a punt back to him. He's so deep. There's no way that Tony Romo saw him on this play, because he kind of play fakes off to the right. Witten's going to hook up, and they're going to try and hit that deep cross. And Kenny Phillips did everything but fair catch that one. Tony Romo just never saw him. You say, how can that happen? And sometimes it happens. He just absolutely never saw him.
Well, he sees him beat the corner, and then it looks like maybe Hurd had blocked out the safety on the play.
I don't know. Tough night tonight for Tony Romo, though. Really, but for his mistakes, the Cowboys have dominated at times.
27-yard line, 1st and 10. Waning moments of the 3rd quarter. Jacobs, the back. Fake to him. Eli's going to go deep, and Eli's going to man out in front, and it will be caught by Manningham, who beats Scandrick and hauls it in, and Scandrick makes the tackle at the 24-yard line. So the Giants get the pick and then strike right back. And that'll be the end of the quarter as Mrs. Manning looks on. But a good end for the Giants to the third quarter despite trailing by 4. A first down at the Dallas 24. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. Start the fourth quarter at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. Been a good game. Dallas on top by 4. And LeBron James is in the house tonight.
It's not a party unless he's here.
Makes it official.
Yeah.
You're at 105,000 we're here. Get on over. Meanwhile, after that long completion to Manningham, who tonight has caught 8 passes for 117 yards. 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 25-yard line. Jacobs to the 21. And let's go back to that long pass that ended the third quarter.
Well, you know Brandon Jacobs got the running game going. And watch this time, Ken Hamlin here, as Jacobs goes to play fake this way. He's going to get frozen in space there and give Mario Manningham enough chance to get up and get by him. It's the one thing when you study tape of the Dallas Cowboys, their safeties like to take chances. They like to come up. They like to get involved in the running game. And sometimes your corners pay the price.
Second down and 8. Jacobs. And he gets stripped out from behind. Feet taken out from underneath him by DeMarcus Ware.
Mario Manningham on the tail end of this one, and everybody's eyes start getting big when that ball's coming in there. And I do mean everybody.
Abby checking it out. Third down and 8 at the 22. Good protection. Eli with time. Wide open is Smith. And he will dive into the end zone to put the Giants on top again.
What a move by Steve Smith. Earlier I told you, Al, this kid's one of the great route runners I've seen. But he just simply put the little okey doke right here on Scandrick. Out, up, goodbye. And a little icing on the cake there on the tail end. The Cowboys don't blitz there. Bring just 4. The safety split wide and can't get back.
That's 6 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown tonight for a guy who may not be known as the other Steve Smith for too much longer. Of course, the other Steve Smith is the Carolina wide receiver, the perennial Pro Bowler. Touchdown for the Giants, and the lead by 3. Plenty to enjoy here at Jerry World.
It is a show, and so has this football game been.
Great.
I mean, this has just been a lot of fun, up and down the field, a lot of big plays.
Cowboys were offside on the extra points, and they tack on the 5 yards on the kickoff here, and it's fielded in the end zone by Jones. And Jones to the near side of the field will get popped out of bounds by Johnson at the 18-yard line.
Bruce Johnson forcing him out of bounds.
Giants tonight with 4 takeaways, and those have led to 24 of the 27 points. Romo's been picked 3 times. Then you had the fumble by Jones on the run back. And one other very interesting note in tonight's game, these 2 teams 1-2 in sacks since 07. Don't have a sack between them tonight. There were 20 sacks in the 2 games last year. Of course, there were 8 of Manning in the 1 game at Texas Stadium. Little toss back. Jones. And very little room to roam there. Michael Johnson, the safety, comes up to make the hit.
Well, there's no question that as well as Tony Romo played last week against Tampa, he is playing that poorly here tonight. And a season ago, he had 13 fumbles on the year, second most in the NFL, lost 7 of those, which is tied for the most. He also had 14 interceptions despite missing 3 games. But these turnovers, and especially by Tony Romo, have just been the difference. Now that one's a little fluky there. You can't really blame him, but even that was a throw behind Jason Witten.
2nd and 7 from the 20. Four-man rush. And it's enough of a rush that Romo gets it away, and then OCU and Ura comes in and pops him at the end. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, Ozzie Umenyiora saying I was that close on that one. He's coming off the edge over here. And he just goes with that strong inside moves. And I tell you what, Flozell Adams almost tripped him again. He almost got his 2nd trip of the game. Stuck that leg out one more time.
The first trip cost Justin Tuck the rest of the night.
He's such a big man. He has trouble adjusting when they get that inside move going.
3rd and 7. Out of the shotgun. Everybody into the pattern. Romo slings it to the outside. The coverage is very good, and the pass for Creighton is incomplete, and it's a very rapid 3 and out for a frustrated Romo in the Cowboys.
I'm going to tell you what, though. Tony Romo's made some bad throws. That was brilliant. Double coverage. Watch how tight this one is. He's going to get this into Creighton, and this is the tiniest hole he's seen all night, and it's right there. That's a play Creighton has to make. You keep the ball, keep the drive alive. That's a huge drop. Got to make that one.
Matt McBriar to punt. And that's fielded at the 34-yard line by Bradshaw. Forced out in front of the Cowboy bench. At the 42, we have 12:24 left in the 4th. The Giants up by 3. This is Ahmad Bradshaw.
Bradshaw on the carry, brought down by Spencer, Ratliff, and Ware.
Under 12 minutes to play, 2nd down and 11. The Giants have the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, Eli's got him in a blitz. If the Cowboys don't check out of it.
They check out of it. 4-man rush. And the pass is still there. And that is the budding star, Mario Manningham. You don't want to make too much too early of this kid. But what a night for him. 25 yards. Manningham has now caught 9 passes for 142 yards.
You know, Eli thought he had the man coverage going, so he goes to that Super Bowl play. Remember that one? Plexico Burris, the little sluggo, the slant and go. But it was really his own, and they got it in there anyway. Manningham just keeps going up and making plays, and I think they may have found their #1 receiver.
And Steve Smith also had a very good night as well. 6 catches for 103.
So is Eli.
Yep. And that with Hickson out of the game early. From the 34-yard line, Bradshaw again. And the Cowboys whiff on a tackle. And that's another 1st down because it was Orlando Scandrick, who's gotten burned on a few plays tonight, who came up and did the Olay.
Well, Anthony Spencer's going to come right off the edge here, but his job is contained. He's out there coming after the quarterback. But you remember watching the Pittsburgh Steelers, those outside linebackers, how they squeeze that thing down in there? You got to make it easier for those defensive ends to make plays. And when Spencer's running up the field, he's leaving a big gap in there.
At the 23. Bradshaw. Giants with Jacobs, and last year, remember, they had Derek Ward, and Ward had a 1,000-yard season. When you do, you're going to get some money someplace else, and he wound up getting it at Tampa Bay. But you still have Bradshaw behind him, and Danny Ware's another guy they want to work into that as well. But Ware got hurt, dislocated his elbow last week on the opening kickoff of the season.
And pretty good contrast between Jacobs and Bradshaw. Boy, when you get used to Jacobs, all of a sudden the little quickness of Bradshaw looks like a lot of quickness.
2nd and 9. Jacobs going to cut it back. They're going to wrap him up as he reaches the 20-yard line.
Junior Seville out there making the play, the backup nose tackle, and what a story he is. 3 years out of football, he decided that this was it. He put everything he had into this one season. He said, if I get cut one more time, I'm done with it. I'm going on with my life's work. Really impressed him in camp and has played well out here tonight.
3rd down and 7. 8:45 left in regulation. Manning stepping up, stepping away, turning back, throwing. After doing a 360, and he gets rid of the ball, but short of the first down. That's Steve Smith coming back to make the catch, and the Giants will send in the field goal group.
Eli's turned into Ben Roethlisberger on us here. Check this scramble out. Out around Steve Smith, coming in, coming out. Eli a little pirouette, got a completion. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that play. Not quite as good as Donovan McNabb, that one Monday night game you had, but not bad.
Wow. Where he ran about 173 yards.
Yeah.
This will be a 36-yard attempt to give the Giants a 6-point lead. Times. And this kick is good. After we had missed one from 29, he makes this one from 36. 7.5 to play. Giants by 6. Wade Phillips trying to get to postseason and trying to win a postseason game for the first time. And Tom Coughlin, who took over the Jacksonville Jaguars in their infancy and then came to the Giants and won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Locked up. The Giants and the Cowboys, a great rivalry through the years. Cowboys in their 50th season as Jones brings it back up to the 30-yard line. Tony Romo in the 4th quarter of games last season had the best passer rating in the NFL.
Well, he's going to have that number and more to just get back to average here tonight, because 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. But, you know, because of the fact that the Giants are not scoring touchdowns, once again in the red zone, once again kicking a field goal, they are giving the Cowboys an opportunity.
Starting from the 29-yard line, Barber is the running back. He gets it, gets a big hole, and gets a first down. Picks up a dozen yards out to the 41-yard line before he's taken down by Antonio Pierce.
Boy, the fullback Deion Anderson is having a game out here tonight. Huge block in the hole, man against man, just old-fashioned football. Watch number 34, this intentional cutback play again. Gets just enough there. Big block against a defensive end. Nice play.
From the 40, the draw, Farmer this time. Cowboys and the Giants met 36 times in Texas Stadium, which opened back in 1971, and the Giants happy to get out of there. They were 11-25 at Old Texas Stadium. And there was a shot of Texas Stadium, and there it is on Thursday, opening in 71. And before that, the Cowboys, when they came into the league as an expansion team in 1960, the same year the American Football League started, Cowboys coming over to the NFL. The Cowboys played at the Cotton Bowl. 2nd down and 8. One more throws, and that pass is incomplete. What does Omaha mean? It used to be Lincoln, and now you're going to Omaha, right?
I don't know. It's everybody's favorite word, but right now we're seeing the Dallas Cowboys with their 2 tight end front on the outside. When the Giants don't go nickel, they bring those guys back inside, and now they're going to create some individual matchups that they like. But that time, Roy Williams, and that's probably the weakness of what he does. Some of those routes, he doesn't have all the quickness. I think he's a much better receiver when he's in vertical routes, when he's trying to get down the field. But he and Romo have worked so hard on trying to create some timing between them, and it's still a work in progress.
Romo has only 11 passing yards in this half. And he'll add to that here as Witten makes a key grab on a 3rd and 8 for a first down in Giants territory. Gets tackled by Michael Johnson at the 45-yard line.
Well, when all else fails, you know where Tony Romo is going. They thought he was going in behind into that deep middle, and then he just arrows back out of it. And I go back to Antonio Pierce, who said that there's just something about this guy. He's not that fast, he's not that quick, but every time you put on the tape, he is always open. And there he was again.
5.5 left. Barber on a draw. It's taken down by big Fred Robbins, number 98, gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 next.
I think the Cowboys have found a little something here. They're taking their 2 tight ends and they're splitting them out, and the Giants are flanking people out there with them, and as soon as they go to that formation, Romo comes back in and does the handoff. So they are just playing a game off of whatever it is the Giants defensively want to do.
42-yard line.
Back to the 3 wide out set here.
Barber inside the 35, a first down, inside the 20, chased by Johnson, and he falls down inside the 10-yard line. Bruce Johnson chasing him. It looked like Barber might have started to stumble a little bit at the end.
Well, Antonio Pierce was trying to make an audible. He's trying to call a blitz to come over here, but Tony Romo beats him to the punch. They go the wrong way. Now the question is, did this ball come out before he's touched? It's pretty clear Marion Barber looks like he pulls a muscle there, and he goes down, and when does this ball come out?
Right.
It came out when he hit the ground, but was contact made right there, and I think it will be down, but that was close.
Very close. I think he pulled a quad muscle. Now they give the ball to Felix Jones, and he goes in for a touchdown. So Barber does all the heavy lifting, that 35-yard run, and then Jones pays it off, and the Cowboys can take the lead with the extra point.
Sorry, I'll check out Kozar coming into the hole and just absolutely wiping out Danny Clark. Great blocks inside. The left guard pulls around, and look at that block. Oh, my goodness. That's the 2nd touchdown block tonight that Kyle Kozar's had.
Nick Folk, McBriar puts it down, and Folk's kick will give Dallas a 1-point lead. Great game to open up this facility. 3:40 left in regulation. 31-30 Cowboys.
Are Sunday night games always this much fun? Every game we've done so far has been great.
Pretty good. We're on a pretty good roll here. And so is Beeler, the kickoff guy they drafted out of USC. 4 yards into the end zone, and Sonoris Moss will bring it back out to the 25. The Giants have been shredded on the ground tonight. The Cowboys in this half alone have rushed for 173 yards. Take a look at that. On the ground tonight, Dallas 251 yards. Most on the ground in any game since 1993, so it's 16 years ago at Philadelphia, and it's time to play too, so they'll probably add to that figure.
Well, it's Eli time again here now.
Cowboys have the lead despite being -4 in the turnover ratio department. Giants have not turned the ball over tonight. Romo's thrown 3 picks, and there's been a fumble as well. From the 25. 4-man rush. Dump it underneath to Kevin Boss. And Kevin Boss with a flag down back at the 23-yard line for the moment. Would have picked up a first down pending the call. Last minute consultation with Mike Carey.
Big call too. First down or 1st and 20.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Personal foul, leg whip on number 80 is declined. Holding by the offense, number 69 is accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
That's on Seubert, the holding call. Check it out.
Rich Seibert right here. Let's see what we get. Hey, that's what happens right there.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't see it there, but there is a leg whip right there from Hagan.
Wow.
So that makes it 1st and 20, and the Giants are back at their own 15-yard line.
I thought they were both tough calls.
Manning throws, that's caught, Bradshaw, and he gets taken down outside. That's Ratliff, the nose tackle, going outside to cover the back in the flat.
Pretty amazing when you see a nose tackle cover in the flat, a very quick back. Look at number 90. The nose tackle go out there and make that play. We've been showing you all the penetration all night long. What kind of a defensive scheme, what kind of a madman draws that one up? Well, only if you got a guy like that can make that play.
He's 105 pounds heavier than the guy he's covering.
Goodness gracious.
2nd and 18. Crowd in full throat. All 105,000. Manning pressured, throws on the run, and that's caught by Derek Hagan. So Hagan getting to play in the game at this point in the game, again, because of the injury earlier on to Dominic Hickson. Otherwise, Hagan would be on the bench.
Well, this Giant offensive line, after taking all the abuse the last time these two teams played here, giving up 8 sacks, has been brilliant. They have just absolutely been brilliant. Keeping the quarterback clean, that time Eli buying some time. And it really comes down to this play.
And you saw that news to the Cowboys. If they get the ball back and are trailing, Barber is done for the night. And now a timeout is taken here before a 3rd down and 6. And the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes. The 2-minute warning. The Giants have 2 timeouts. Remember, they took one earlier. And if they don't make a first down here, there is going to be a very tough decision for Tom Coughlin to make. Do you go for it on 4th down? Or do you punt it away and use your 2 timeouts and hope to stop him? He hopes it's moot. He hopes they can complete one here. And they do. So we'll never know the answer to that because it's caught by Steve Smith up at the 39-yard line.
Well, Mr. Reliable one more time. He is sort of become the Amani Toomer of this team as they come back up with the hurry up.
At the 40-yard line. Again, all the Giants need is a field goal so they can milk a little bit of the clock on their way down the field. Plenty of time with 2 timeouts. And that pass is caught, and then it is dropped. Manningham had it initially. Scandrick was all over him, and he never had it. Incomplete.
I think that's a break for the Giants.
Yes, it is.
You know, that's a 2-yard completion. You can see Manningham basically waving his arms, trying to talk the official into an incompletion. That's about the strangest looking thing I've ever seen.
Right, and you would have stayed in bounds, and the clock would have kept running.
So far, the Cowboys staying with a 4-man pressure. They haven't brought any blitzes yet.
2nd and 10 from the 40.
They do
now they show blitz. Manning throws, and that is caught, and that'll be a first down, and that is caught by Kevin Boss, the tight end. He's tackled by Sensabaugh, and the ball is now in Cowboy territory, ticking down to 1:15 left.
Kevin Boss, what he lacks for quickness, is pretty good in the open field once he gets running, and just ran away from Sensabaugh there.
From the 47. Four-man rush. Manning throws, caught, stopped at the 41 is Smith by Jenkins.
Eli totally under control. Just looks like he's so comfortable in this situation, and we certainly have seen this one before.
The first down away from field goal range, and Manning will throw, and that pass is high. That's incomplete, intended for Steve Smith, and the clock stops with 39 seconds.
What do you call that? Putting the kibosh on him?
Exactly.
I mean, that was wide open, and he missed it. And I think that Smith would have had not only room to make the catch there, but also the ability to get out of bounds. He had the entire sideline open to his side. That was a big miss.
And you see Tynes loosening up. He told Andrew before the game he thinks it's 53 yards in this direction. That's his range. It's also his career long. And now timeout taken on defense. Dallas will spend a timeout. So with 39 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, 2 timeouts remaining now for each team. Well, you're going to open up a palace that costs $1.1 billion. You need a game like this. Heck of a game.
Good show, absolutely. You know, but for the Cowboys, I think that timeout might be good for them. I was watching their pass rushers, and they were clearly getting exhausted. It's hot out here tonight, and that 2-minute offense coming down the field. So now you get the situation where your guys catch their breath a little bit. Maybe you finally get a little pressure on Eli.
Do you blitz them? I mean, they've been sending 4.
I don't think you have a choice, because you need, about 5-6 yards here in this situation. So if you just sit back and let them work the zones, it's pretty easy to find a hole out there.
Third down, 4. From the 41.
They're coming.
And it's looked like it was tipped and caught at the 33-yard line by Mario Manningham. So a first down with half a minute to go. And at the 33-yard line, you're now looking at about a 51-yard field goal. Again, the Giants with 2 timeouts. Manning over the middle, and that gets them clearly within range for Tynes as Steve Smith makes the catch, and they stop the clock with 13 seconds remaining in the fourth period.
I'll tell you what, Eli Manning is just putting on a show out here. Sometimes it takes a lucky break along the way when you get a good drive going. Third down. They're going to get a hand on this ball right here.
They are. Yes, sir.
That's Ratliff. And one of the tough things for Mike Jenkins, you have to know the situation there. When you're talking about you're bringing a blitz, you cannot let those slants beat you. That's most teams' hot reads in that situation, and he had to realize what it was. Steve Smith then picking up the big first down and getting him a lock in field goal range. Everybody's hard.
Mother and wife, and it's not over yet. And the Giants have been the masters of deflection tonight. They had the deflected Romo pass off Witten's foot that led to an interception, the juggling catch in the end zone for a touchdown, and now a deflected pass that winds up in the receiver's hands. The ball is at the 21-yard line. The Giants have a timeout. And all Manning will do is milk the rest of the clock.
That was strictly so they didn't have to kick off after this field goal.
Right.
Now you take the timeout no matter what at 4 seconds. The game is over after this field goal attempt.
And here comes Tynes in. Fields will hold, and Zach Diassi will snap. Tynes tonight has made from 30, 28, and 36. And he also had that 29-yard miss. So Tynes last year got hurt, and then John Carney came in and kicked well enough to go to the Pro Bowl. But Tynes gets the job back. Carney goes to New Orleans, and now Tynes can become the hero the second week of the season.
Well, and you know what's so significant about this one? If the Giants win on this kick, that means they'll have 2 wins, both against divisional opponents, and coming in here and knocking off the Cowboys. Can't get any bigger.
And they're beginning a 3-game road trip as well.
And Wade just said that we should call a timeout. We're going to freeze them here. So right before this kick, I think you're going to get a timeout. Wade's going over to the official now.
37-yard attempt.
Wow.
Fiegel's got the high snap down, and the kick is
Wade
just
got the
inside.
timeout.
Well,
Wade got the timeout.
He did. They got the timeout. So
it's not
he
over.
Timeout. Dallas.
Leaps into a teammate's arms. They get the timeout at the very end.
Timeout.
Well, I'll tell you what, Wade waited till the last millisecond. I'm telling you, I wasn't sure he got it off in time.
Right.
Wade Phillips is standing right next to the official, and when he calls for this timeout, the official reacts immediately. But Wade, I'm telling you, there was not a half a second between that timeout and the snap.
And Fiegel's got the high snap down, and then Tynes kicks it just inside the left upright. And you had the premature celebration, and now we'll have to do it again. To win the game. And it's good. And so the New York Giants can celebrate on the home turf, the new home turf of the Dallas Cowboys in a wild game. The Giants with 12 possessions tonight and 6 scores, 2 touchdowns, 4 field goals by Tynes, and at the gun, the Giants win it by a score of 33-31.
As a field goal kicker, you have to treasure the moment. You certainly did. Boy, what a great job, though, by Eli Manning on that last drive, taking them down the field for the game winner.
Eli throws for 330 tonight. And the Dallas Cowboys have the opening of the stadium spoiled by the Giants at the very end in a classic battle. 33-31.